what are some of your favorite restaurants like in the greater St. Louis area?
Most of the restaurant owners and the chefs are good friends of mine, so I don't want to leave anybody aside.
What's the difference between a craft and an art?
I think it's just too complicated. I don't just normally click the complicate things then. And I think that's what we are trying to do with the food, bringing the community together in the form of food is like a sort of a catalyst. But then, the end of the day, we are all serving to the human, right? I think that's what I think. It's like a couple of days back in one of my uh, social media posts, I was just talking about that. How much ever you talk about the AI or technical advances, everything, there's nothing to match this raw human emotion then. And I think that's what probably makes the food taste better. And it's like I think if people feel it, it's like with a bit of emotion, then that's what it is. Then.
You can take art out of a craft, right? As in, like, you can't spell craft without art.
I might be, yeah, I think it's like true. That's true. Then, yep.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm excited for today. What? I haven't been able to contain the excitement for this episode here, but I'm excited, and I know you're excited. And there was a lot of curiosity that I like try to get you to contain, so you can keep it for this episode here. We have a very special guest. All of our guests are very special, but this is someone that taps into something that Nishant and I love oh so much, and that is food. This gentleman is an artist when it comes to curating some of the best culinary experiences you will ever get to enjoy in your life. And I promise you that that's not an exaggeration. Mr. Ashok Nageswaran. Let's put him in the center.
Hey guys, good morning.
Yes.
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you,
Good to
sir.
see you
Oh
too.
my God, we're so happy to have you, man. I mean, like, I'm telling you, I'm like, I should have ate something before we shot this because I feel like during this episode I'm gonna get really hungry. But man, we're so happy to have you. I'm gonna go ahead and put the spotlight on you. We there's so much that we have to ask, and there's so much to talk about. And first, let's just go ahead and have you introduce yourself to the world that isn't familiar with you yet.
Well, it's like thank you for being here. It's like I'm just happy to be here, and thank you for the invite. And so wonderful to just be here in the presence of two young bright minds. Then, and I've seen you guys in action or heard about that. So good to be here. Then, my name is Ashok Nageswaran. I represent a company called Food Raconteur. Raconteur is a French term for storytelling. So what we do is culinary stories or culinary, events, curated events. But then we try to just give the behind the scenes, a little bit of trivia, history, tradition about the cuisines, culture, people, and then it just makes it a little bit more enjoyable, I believe. And in short, I think in the last almost 8, 9 years, I would say we've been in business. Almost we have curated about 2,000 odd events, roughly about 2,000. We are hitting the 2,000 mark in the next couple of months. And the best thing about it is not the number of events, but the number of dishes or the cuisines we represented. As a last count, I think we have clocked about 89 cuisines, I believe. I think it's like it's I believe it's like we are just proud of that, and that's what probably makes us a little bit unique and a little bit differentiate us from the other ones in the market. Then, so happy to be here. I think it's like let's just get on there.
Yeah, no, we're man. I got to we I first met you. I think it was what maybe close to 7 years ago, maybe.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and I'm really happy that like it's been great. Like I'll see you at like the gaps in between. we will pick up where we leave off, and like I get to kind of learn more, get more insight each and every time. It'll be like big milestones or chapters that get hit for either one of us. So it's really cool to see how you've evolved the company and what you've done over the years. So hearing that you're gonna get close to or soon reach the 2000 event mark is actually, I mean, that's astounding. That's amazing. How long have you been doing this for everyone else that's wondering?
I think on our own, the Food Raconteur as a company is like almost about 8 years then. So roughly about, yeah, it's about 8 years then. But prior to that, of course, it's like you've been in the food industry or restaurant business for some time. But I think it's like as an individual, as a Food Raconteur as a company, I think we've been in business for about 8 years now.
Wonderful. And before that, where were you? What were you? If you want,
Before that, I think I normally it's like I say in most of my interviews, I had a past life actually in the form of a marketeer, basically. Then, so almost about 15 to 20, almost about 17 years to be precise, I was in marketing most of my career. Then, whether with Johnson and Johnson, Amway corporations, Amazons and cosmetic, some of the finest cosmetic companies, and some of the FMCG companies and online shopping. I think ethnic wear. So being in, and then not to mention diamonds, of course, and the Formula One cars. So being in a little bit of everything in marketing most of my time, and then the culinary. I think I would say solid. I would say about 10 to 12 years. I would say roughly. So if I split, my marketing is like almost about 17, 18 years, and this is like almost about 12 years plus.
what?
So like,
Yeah, go ahead, Nisha. There's so
uh,
many questions. There's so many. There's wait, hold on. I'm like, wait a second. Hold on. There's like a lot that I think I'm learning now that I hadn't known. But go ahead, Nisha. Go.
like, when did you first cook? Like, when was the first time you realized that okay, this is what I want to do?
I think, see, it's like, I mean, most everyone, I think, I would say, love to cook. At least they try the hand.
Yes.
I mean, how it turns out, that's a secondary question. But I think deep inside, everyone tried to just do something. Then, I mean, then it up to the person whether they want to take it into a profession or things like that. But I think, I mean, and we don't understand. I think maybe it's like we'll talk about during the course of that. I think the impact of family, or it's like the smaller chores you do. It's like when you were a child, how it impacts and affects or shapes you as a person. And for me as a professional also, it's something really really fascinating. To address specifically to your question, uh, when I was in Australia for my second master's, I took to cooking mostly as a part-time job, as everyone, each one of us just do that then. So that was probably, I would say, the first seeds were sown. I mean, in a more professional environment then. Um, I would say that's like almost about, 97. That's 28 years back. I don't know whether you guys were born at the time then. So,
I
so
was not.
I think, but I think it gave, I mean, probably it's like that's where the seeds were sown. But then I think then I went on to the typical corporate, regular corporate job, marketing jobs, whatever I mentioned to you guys. When we moved to US about 13 years back, I still was like in a, I mean, good company and in a marketing thing. But somewhere I think it's like call it midlife crisis, call it craziness, whatever, we can call it as. I was not happy in the job I was just doing. And it was my wife, it's like, who was like pushing me, hey, it's like, I think you wanted to do something, it's like you like it, why don't you, just take it as a profession then. And it's not an easy, it's like, I think starting a second life or a second career at 40, it's not the best of the thing, because there is a lot of ifs and buts that happen. Uh, but I think it's like, thankfully, I went with the flow, thanks to her support. And that's how it's like it started then. It's like as a serious thing. But I think if I can just elaborate on that, I'm one person who want to do things in the best of its ability. In the sense, there was no second chance or there was no looking back. In the sense, when you are starting at 20 or 17, it's a different ball game altogether. When you are 40 and then you are just starting something, it's a different challenge then. But then I think I was, I call it smart enough, or probably I had the sensibility that if I'm starting something, I don't want to just get back, but I want to do it to the best of my ability. And I've seen around so many people who has a passion for cooking, but when you are just putting it in a professional front, in a kitchen atmosphere with the weekends and the craziness, I'm sure Rana might just be able to empathize with. It's not an easy thing. Compromising on the weekends, holidays, everything, it's not an easy thing then. So I wanted to go back to school because what I had was a little bit of passion and a little bit of experience and a little bit of your friends and families always cheer you up, right? I think it's like even you make just boil the water, oh, it smells amazing. That's the normal feeling you get that then. So you don't want to get carried away or swayed by that. Then thankfully I did. So I went back to Cordon Bleu. I was probably the oldest student, I would say. It's the oldest school in the world, one of the oldest schools in the world. So I went there to get the basics right. What you had was a little bit of passion, as I said earlier, and I wanted to get that professional aspect in that. And also, it's a test for myself whether I might be able to survive, the intensity and the chaos that comes with that. And thankfully, I think it's like I beat almost every other student, and I think it's like I topped up with the president's medal for best performance and the scholars award and everything then. So to answer your question, I think it's like that helped me a little bit.
So okay,
Um,
which like just to try different cuisines or just to understand a cuisine or a dish, you might have traveled a lot. So which, like, name the top three countries you can just go anytime and just try their cuisine, and what are the dishes?
I have a little bit of a different view compared to most of the people or chefs or everything because one of the reason I think it's like we keeps on piling. When I say piling in a positive word, in a positive
Mhm.
way, adding new cuisines is for me personally. I'm just talking about myself. It makes you feel humble. First of all, the moment you think it's like you have achieved something, you have won an award or achieved something, or people just praise, hey, this event was good. I think you don't want that to go into your head then. That's like
Mhm.
we are pretty sure about it. Because if you notice in the look around, almost I think you'll everyone gets excited with the restaurants, new openings and everything. But I'm sure it's like again, Rana might just be able to support me. There are almost like I think 4 to 6 restaurants that close for every 10 restaurants that open, and you don't see those. So I mean, get to see them, get to hear them, and see the sorry tales, and it's like blood, sweat, tears, and everything. Then so it makes me feel humble. So I don't have a saying, hey, it's like this is my top thing because every cuisine, every country, has a legacy, history, tradition. I mean, something might be about 1,000 years, like India, Asia, might have a thousands of years of history. Someone like in Europe might be about 700, 800 of history. And
Mhm.
maybe some countries might be about 50 years or 30 years of history then. But there is like amount of effort in there in the cuisine culture and history and tradition. People have been eating over there, right? And they've been surviving over there too. So there is no such thing as like this is the best or this is the best. Maybe you can say the comfort food. I like definitely some of the South Indian food. It's like I like it, it's comfort food. But I think if I say some of the top ones, there is no such thing as a hierarchy. This is, I never say it's like, for each, I think it's like their home food is the best one. If I ask you, I think Oriya cuisine is the best one. Rana, it's like has a different thing then. So I think it's like food is also about memories. If I can say, what you want to eat at that point of time, I think it's like determines whether you like it or not. It's almost something similar to the wine then. I would say it's like there are some countries which have done a stupendous job promoting food, almost like a food tourism sort of thing. Then I would say it's like they are popular. I can use the word some of the popular ones. Then, like I like Albanian cuisine. People don't have even heard about that Albanian cuisine. Then, so it's a very unique and very meat centric. But I think there's a lot of history to that. Then, so that's what I say. But some of the popular ones, I would say, I mean, after many a travel, it's like we do. Spain is like, of course, it's like very popular. Spanish food is like very popular, and they promote it well. Not to talk about the French, they promoted well. Italian, again, it's like they promoted well. Japanese, I think the new trend in there then. So now almost every country promotes, food. They understood food is like a sort of a big revenue earner, and it attracts people, and people are becoming a bit more global then. So
Hmm.
I almost like every country, it's like every year I like, excuse me, every year I try to just choose at least one new country, new cuisine then, and I like that then. So that there is no such thing as like top three, top five, something like that. Everything, it's like every country I go, it's a new experience, and I just soak in there, understand the people, trying to understand the culture, history. But soul food, comfort food, I think it's like some South Indian food might be, I would say.
That's awesome. Like, um, is there like I never get to ask you, or I never got to ask you rather, but like, what you know, what's your what are your views or like perspective on St. Louis's food scene, and like what you know?
I think people underestimate it. It's personally my thought. Again, my opinion. There's been hundreds. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. Hundreds of offer for me to move to, being a private chef for some star. I mean, Silicon Valley's like billionaire CEOs or media moguls' houses in New York with a, it's like with a staying house, or even many of the yachts. It's like in the Caribbean or many other yachts. Then but I think I truly, truly believe. I think St. Louis is like underrated and underestimated. It's changing. It's not easy, but I think it is changing. It's like embracing. It's like multiple culture. It's one of the great place for immigrants in terms of embracing newer immigrants, newer cuisines and culture. And I'm sure it's like I think you guys would have just heard about the Festival of Nations, which is held last weekend, I believe. Last weekend almost attracts 100, 200,000 people, touching upon almost 60, 70 different cuisines then. And there is so much new cuisines, taste, restaurants that's coming by, and they are all accepted by the public also. In my opinion, I think in the another 3 to 5 years, we might be one of the top five food destinations in the country then. It's
What
changing, but I think definitely I have a very strong feeling about it. The people are just willing to embrace newer cuisines, newer flavors, and newer tastes without being judgmental about it. Then it was not the same, of course, a decade back or 13, 15 years back, but it's changing very drastically. I mean, you won't see it's like, for example, a superior Bosnian cuisine, it's like anywhere else in the 1,000 mile radius. Then St. Louis has some amazing Bosnian cuisine, some amazing Balkan cuisine. Then not to talk about all the other ones we talk about. We are not there yet, but I think it's like, it's a little bit about the infrastructure, maybe investor. It's just more to do with the business aspects of it, not to do with the taste or, people's judgment or anything there. But another 3 to 5 years, we will be one of the top three or top five food destinations in the country.
Oh man, he put that battery in my back, man. Nishant, what I tell you, what? So for the viewers watching, Mr. Ashok and I are from St. Louis, Missouri. So to provide reference as to why I asked about that city specifically, I just realized I don't think I've ever given my like location as far as where I'm from for people, but most people watching so far are friends, so they know where I'm from, obviously. But yeah, no, that makes me so happy hearing you say that. And then Nishant again, he was talking about the Festival of Nations. That's it's like such a grand event. You would not believe it. It's something like it's unlike anything you've ever seen before. It's huge. I mean, the amount of people that show up,
Hmm.
and the amount of food options there. It's like food and music and like trinkets, like art and like all those like just vendors and stuff, stalls for selling things just all around the world, right? Like whether it's desi jewelry or like Indian jewelry
Mhm.
or like Spanish clothes or anything. It could be whatever. So it's yeah, no, that makes me so happy to hear. Do you have a like And I know, I don't want to make like put you on the spot to like make you choose a singular or like one or few places, but what are some of your favorite restaurants like in the greater St. Louis area?
I think I mean most of the restaurant owners and the chefs are good friends of mine, so I don't want to leave anybody aside. But I think again, as I said, it's about memories, right? I think it's about memories. When you have a craving, I think it's like where do you go then? So I think it's like I mean there is like nothing wrong in just saying whether there are some few good places. Akar is like one of my favorites. It was a great Malaysian thing. Partly also, I'm just talking about is the uniqueness. I'm not just talking about the Me Too aspect of it. Then, so it's like Akar is a great Malaysian restaurant. Then, amazing Malay food. Akar means roots in Malay, roots. Then, so you can contribute to whether it's a Galangal root or your family roots, whichever way you want to interpret it. But it's a great Malaysian cuisine. I just love that. I like all Ben Puramba is like a good friend of mine. I like almost all of his restaurants. Next Olia. It's like I think it's like all those restaurants. I love that. Balkan Treat Box is like one of my favorite. They just have one of the best. It's like Balkan side. It's like I think the breads and everything. It's really good. Then, what else? Then I think it's like it goes on. I think it's almost there's like a bit of endless list. Then I'm saying Italian, I like Pinot. It's a soul food. Again, I think I'm not into, and the reason I'm saying is food is not just about garnish, what's on the plate, or just how much garnish you put then. How do you feel after that then, soulfully? Are you able to get transported to some different place, or just having your grandma pet your head or a hair? Are you getting into those nostalgic thing? And that's what I call it's like as a good food then, technically speaking. It's not just about getting a $1 million plates, or it's like putting all the gold and everything. The food is just another canned food. Probably I'm not sure about that. So some of these places I think it's like holds a special memory, and I pretty much it's like go there. And of course not to talk about you guys then. So I think I haven't just yet tried your new one. Maybe I think it's time for me to just visit the butter chicken spot too then.
Yes.
Good. It would be an honor. It'd be a huge honor. Wow.
So, like, what qualities determines a good dish?
I think again, as I said, the same. I think it's does it evoke any memory? Does it evoke any feeling to you? Does it it's like does it translate you to a different zone altogether? You're in a trance sort of stage then. You're not just
Mhm.
being overstuffed. You are in a trance, call it zen mode, whatever it is. I think you are just able to just enjoy that then. So I think that is a good food. I'll quote just an example. I think just because it's pretty recent. I visited one of during my Chennai visit about uh, last month, I believe. I visited many more 10 fancy restaurants and everything, and the chefs have been always just nice to me, friends. They've been nice. But I visited one particular family. This guy, his dad is a legendary film director. He has like won quite a few national awards in India, and known for I think top quality films. Then doesn't compromise on anything. Then so his son happened to be a good friend, and while we were just planning for a dinner, he said, why don't you come over? My wife is a little bit hesitant, but to cook for you. I said, like, no, I think it's like there's nothing like that. I don't. I mean, I like enjoy simple food then. So I think it's like I went. It's a simple dish then, in the sense, it was a. I think it's like it was a little bit of a chicken, and it was a little bit of some mutton I used to eat at that time, and then some very nice biryani and a rasam and some raita, whatever. Simple then. I think, I said, I literally could just enjoy rice by rice. I think it's like, the rice was not even touched to each other. And it's not just soaked with, just the dry powder, or is it not just too much moist? Just the amount of ghee. You are just able to enjoy that. The pieces were not just too big, too huge, just enough bite sized portion, not just like really oily. The garlic, I think it's like the pounded garlic aroma in the rasam. So each one was like pretty, distinguishable. And these guys, I mean, my friends and their families, they all ate. But I think it's like I couldn't resist myself writing a note to that lady. It's like saying, hey, this is what I enjoyed about each one of that. So I think I'm not exaggerating. Next morning, I think the friend, he called me and messaged me. She's in complete tears all over. And you almost put us, all of us, to shame because we sit in the same table. She's been cooking for 20 years or 25 years or something like that. We watch a TV phone and we, eat something. When she asks how's the food, we just nod our head, yep, it's okay, nice. But I think it's like we never thought, we are just doing a huge, how do I say, we are not just doing a favor to her by complimenting or probably just telling how nice it was. You made us, it's just, I mean, you opened our eyes. And she was like putting that as a screenshot and sharing whole day with all her friends and families and everything then. So I think it's like, to answer your question, I think that's the thing then. I think you are able to get into the zone, and you are just able to enjoy each aspect of it, and each ingredient you are used, the purpose. I think each ingredient is used for a specific purpose. And you should be able to enjoy the cumin, you should be able to enjoy the spices, and enjoy the rice and the little bit of ghee, not just the whole dump of thing. I'm just giving biryani as an example because it was one of the recent ones then. So that's my yardstick for any dish then. If you are using any of the ingredients, I think don't use it for the sake of it. You need to, there is a reason why it was created, whether medicinal benefits, or maybe it's like, I think, colors, visual appeal, aesthetics, or probably it's like, putting it all together, maybe some reason to that. So do justice to that. And any dish, any cuisine, doesn't matter, which does justice to that. I think it's like, it's the, I mean, that's the one quality I just look for. That doesn't mean it's like it can be a simple omelette. I think you should be able to just enjoy that, not too eggy. You can just go on about every single dish other than maybe a boiling water then.
Hmm.
Yo, well, the way he talks about food, Nishant, I'm telling you, it's like I love anybody that's so passionate. I
Mhm.
love, and to just see that exude off of you for something that Nishant and I are also very passionate about. It inspires us. It like, man, it just like, honestly, it just, I feel so good just hearing you talk about these little things, right? Like it's
Next time, try that. Try that and telling that to your mom. Just give a nice little description of who our cooks. Enjoy that without the phone, television. Just enjoy every bit of it. You'll realize, I think, what you've been missing all this time. And in a fast paced life, we tend to just grab and go and just do everything then. But I think it's like when you're doing that, I think it elevates it. I think it's like, I truly believe the energy of the person who cooks, whether it's a chef or a cook or a parents, grandma, whatever it is, I think it's passed on to that. I think it's like, Indian tradition, we do believe that, right? I think I
Mhm.
mean, the person who cooks, I think they share that, the love energy, it's like in that. Then I think it's only fair that you reciprocate that by just saying a few simple nice words besides thank you, a nice, it's nice, something like that. I think it's about a mutual thing, then it all comes together. That's what we are just talking about then.
So, Rana, the next time you eat that uh, egg salad sandwich, I've heard you compliment your mom, so
yeah.
maybe you can
I,
be a bit more descriptive this next
more
time.
more descriptive, yeah. I mean, one thing that I always do, it gets to the point. I give Nishant, man, you'll see when I come visit you, but I give so much praise that people almost think that I'm like being funny or something like that. like I'm just like,
No, no, no. I think it's like I was just saying. I think to summarize it, 2 days after you finished a dinner, I think if your hand still smells of that, I think that's one of the greatest food you can ever think of. That I think you don't need to do anything. I think couple of days after, I think you just smell that. It suddenly, that's what I said at the beginning then, right? I think it transporting you to a zone completely, brings back all the memories and joy in a flicker of a second. Then I think that's the magic. Then that's a pretty good food. Then that's why you remember that many of the dishes. Then
truly, wow.
One of my earliest memories of the smell. is the mutton biryani that I had back in my hometown in Berhampur. It stayed for me for 2 to 3 days. I was like, it was just, I still remember that. Yeah.
It is like I think I mean, and also for me, it's like these are all the things. As I said, it's like makes you humble when you think
Mhm.
it's like you've done an event for 2,000 people. I mean, you earned your bucks. I think this is like a true treat. I mean, if I have the time, I can just quickly just narrate. Many a times in the interviews, people ask me, which is your favorite dish? What is the favorite dish you had ever then? It's not just always again about this, fancy restaurants or something. I think it might be, viewers, or probably it's like anyone can check on our, social media page. I think it might be there in detail, but I'll put it in a nutshell. My son's nanny or babysitter, she was a young girl of 17 or 18. This is like when he was one. So it's like a long time back. And she came from a pretty remote village from Mumbai, almost 500 miles from Mumbai. And she was staying with us, and she used to take wonderful care of my son. And we also just used to just do that because we trusted her with the home, kid, and everything. So we used to. And once it's like when she used to get all the money and then collect it. And then every year she goes for Diwali, she used to just take that. Once I think it's like when she wanted to go, with the money, we were like not sure. That's a teenage, and especially night in the traveling in the bus, safety is like, it's like it's a question. So we said like we are traveling anyway next day in the car, so we can just drop it off at your place then. She was like pretty hesitant, and and it made us a little bit suspicious. Hey, it's like what's wrong with her? Is she planning something else? Or typical teenagers, so you never know what happened there. We don't want her to be in any trouble. So next day, it's like when we went there on a May June in Malvan, that area is, which is what near the Goa, super hot, almost 100 102 degrees, effortless rain. So we stopped there, and I think it's like the car can't just go beyond that then. So with my son on my shoulder, we had to walk about 4 to 5 kilometers on a hilltop, literal hilltop, and that's where her village was, and that's why she was hesitant to call us, just not to undergo all that. Having said that, I think there is no road, and the kids every day used to travel 6 kilometers one way to school and 6 kilometers back. And even for water, they used to do that. And there were just a bunch of five, six houses on a cliff, and that's where I think it's like she came from. And when we went there, I think my son was like, I mean, quite excited with the dogs around and everything. And he was like, I think, the center of attraction. I think it's like, he was eating everything. And we said, like, okay, that's fine. So they made us, uh, just simple, what you call it, bakri in Maharashtrian bread, right? It's a bakri, it's like it's a flat bread. So bakri and a lentil, and she gave a boiled egg then. So, it's like, so me and my wife, I think it's like we had that. Little we realized, I think, after that, they were in such a poverty level that the egg was their only luxury non-veg meal in a whole week, basically. And what they had left it for us, basically, for their family and everything, they offered to us then. I think it's like that price of that particular egg. I don't think it's like, after 20 years or 18 years, still I haven't been able to, find anywhere else then. Even now, it's like when I think of, I think the whole thing just comes back. But I think it's about, I think, how truthfully and with all honesty, I think it's like they gave us, because we were taking care of their daughters basically, and they wanted to do at least the least than whatever it is. But I think it's like it was a very heartwarming moment. Again, moments like this makes you humble, and I think it's like doesn't matter what you earn, what just gain, awards, everything. Still, this will remain as my most, preferred or most favorite dish I had in my, it's my lifetime then.
Dude, I like. I'm actually fighting back tears right now, man. That's actually crazy.
And we have
That's
many such things. I think that's the joy. I think in this profession, I think it's like, you've been a part of so many emotions then. 2000 events, 2000 different emotions, 2000 different clients, different events, birthday celebration, so much joy in that then. And I think that's what we are trying to do with the food, bringing the community together in the form of food is like a sort of a catalyst. But then the end of the day, we are all serving to the human, right? I think that's what I think. It's like a couple of days back in one of my uh, social media posts, I was just talking about that. How much ever you talk about the AI or technical advances, everything, there's nothing to match this raw human emotion then. And I think that's what probably makes the food taste better. And it's like I think if people feel it, it's like with a bit of emotion, then that's what it is then. So I
Man,
think it's like I mean I'll just add one more, but I think it's like it might be it's something it's like similar, but I think how much it's like you are grateful to life, and I think it's not everybody is blessed to find their own calling, and I think that's what you would be surprised to know. You can check with any of my staff. Uh, we never had a it's like I think. A bad moment in all this 2000 events. We never had one screaming or shouting. One. I'm not exaggerating. One. It's like I think you see in the cooking series or shows or events and everything.
Mhm.
Never, not in one. I think it's like I had to shout, yell, forget about abuse, but I think shout, scream at my staff, not even once. Never in an event we being late, not even one. We
wow.
been ever late then, and that same applies to my staff too, then everyone over there. And that's what I said. It's like we are just, and because the life is throwing at so much gratefulness to you, it's like this joy, this collection, this ensemble of emotions and everything. You can't be disloyal to that. When I say disloyal, abusing is a form of a disloyal thing. Then if it's something is giving you so much, you can't afford to treat it in a bad manner then, right? I think
Right.
it is. So I think it's like we are conscious about it. And somewhere I think it's like when the people say it's like the experience is nice, it's partly because of that. You are only as good as your last dish. I mean, you might have just done multiple things. Last night, I think you flunked. I think it's like we don't. And thankfully, I think it's like our com- not complain. I think it's like the feedback rate out of 2000, two has been 4 on 5. I think the rest has been a 5-1 then. So, you try to just do that as on. I mean, I'm not saying every time you would be perfect. You will have your own off days then. It happens to everybody, right? But I think the moment you wear that robe, I think you need to give utmost respect. It's like a performance then. The behind the scenes can be messy, but once you're on the show, I think the show has to go on, and it bloody well just go on in the most perfect manner then. And that's what it is then. I think it's like, I'll just add one. I think it's like in the same context then. We had one of our client, I think, who was a doctor, and she referred us to, and again, we don't promote. Everything is through reference only then. So one of our doctor friends, she referred us through one of the doctors, and they were looking at a meal preparation or things like that. So we have a policy to meet with the clients before accept any offer, partly because everyone have a different taste buds, and each one is, you can't take a call on behalf of your kids or your spouse or anything then. So we want to understand and take a complete information about what they like, allergies, favorites, everything then. So we met with this family, and this husband is like a Mexican gentleman, doctor, 6'5" almost, and a pretty heavy gentleman. And the wife, again, a specialist doctor, 4 kids, 2 dogs, very big family, beautiful family there. Unfortunate, I think the gentleman, I think the doctor, he's a fantastic cook. He used to cook for the whole family and loves global cuisines then. And it happened about 5 years back. So we met up with them, and I think it's like we worked out menu options and everything, because he was, it's like I think suffering from third cancer basically then, and we realized I think it's like his days were a little bit numbered then. So when he came next time to meet me, he with all the cylinders and everything then. So we said like, okay, he was pretty pissed off with the food they get it from the packed food and all this pre-made and everything then, because he used to be a healthy guy and used to cook. So it's like I think the challenge, it's not about eating just the broccoli salmon all the time then. He wanted, but he had a lot of health restrictions because of his condition then. So we took up the challenge saying, hey, you don't need to eat one big portion. We don't mind just making six, seven smaller portions, different cuisines and everything. We'll put it all together then. So we worked with the client, and I think suddenly they were like, the family which was about to separate, it came together with the joy of cooking then. So we worked with them for a few months. We used to make about six, seven portions for him, small thing. Might be a Spanish, there might be a French, there might be a little Italian, but taking into consideration his dietary restrictions and everything then. So there was a joy in the family. The kids used to be there. And since he can't stand for too long and do that, we said we'll make it as an interactive exercise once in a week then. So the kids, family, everyone used to be on the table. The kids used to help me in cutting the vegetables. This gentleman would be just doing something, asking a question. So we all put together to make a dish. They made it all together, sort of thing. Fate, of course, it's like I think a few months later, the gentleman kept shrinking. But I think it's like he passed away then. Uh, I think, but the last meal was mine, basically. The last meal, the previous night, I think it's like what he had was like it's mine. So, it's like he was enjoying it, it's like everything. And he had quite a few rave comments and everything to pass about. Unfortunately, I think it's the lady, the wife, she had the funeral, and I was like probably called for in the funeral then. I never heard of very few occasions, maybe a chef being called for the funeral just to say a few words. It's like about me and how happy he was and what joy the food brought. I was just a catalyst. I mean, I was just putting it all together. And, it's like, so it was very, very touchy and wonderful. And when I met her in one of the Starbucks a couple of days back, a few days before he passed away, in public, I think it's like she's a high profile doctor. We don't want the names. She held my hand in the public, and she was like in complete tears, saying, it's like people call me a doctor. No, it's like I'm not the doctor. You are the doctor then. I think it's like you brought back, it's like life, happiness, joy in him. And I think whatever we were separating and everything, it just all came together then. So I think it's like, so what price you would pay for that then? What award would just match you for that? Just two different example. One is the lady offering an egg. Another one, it's like, I think it's like, being, uh, I think it's like being happy about, I mean, there was a death, there was a sadness, but there was a happiness in the sadness. You know what I mean? I think it's like,
Yes.
that's what I think it's like. We all have the ability to just do that. Food has the ability, music has the ability to do that. Only thing, if you are able to tap the right button, then that's all it's all about.
You're
Which,
and Nishant, I'm gonna say this, and then you
yeah,
ask the question. I'm
sure,
just
sure,
gonna
sure.
say this, man. That's a first, by the way. I have not cried on this podcast
Hmm.
yet. Uh,
No, I think it's like that can be different. I mean, it's about emotions, right? I think we all just, I think it's like tend to just hold back. It's like, and it's I mean, again, I think if you guys get a chance to come to my studio, sorry, it's like if you ask the question, it's like I mean, I'm just getting into a bit of open conversation. So feel free to
Definitely.
stop me whenever it is there.
No, no.
So I think it's like, this is like also sometimes a lesson. I think when you guys visit my studio, I had the fortune. Have you heard about Ilaiyaraaja, musician? I mean, he's one of the original music composer, the maestro. He's composed for 1,000 movies and half a dozen national awards and all the top honors. 10,000 songs, everything, and multiple things. You just can't go on. In my studio, I think it's like you'll find his, poster. More than a god, I think it would be his poster. It says, "Where words stop, their music starts." Basically, then I think it's another. I mean, this happened a couple of years back. I think I'm not a big fan of this autographs. Then I'm not big into seeking celebrity stars or autographs or photographs, selfies, and everything. Then this one gentleman, I wanted a 30-second, not for anything, just to seek a blessing, just to seek a blessing. That's all it is. Um, so I think St. Louis. It's like he visited to St. Louis a couple of years back, and we said, I mean, I was just wondering, it's like, will I get a chance to meet up with him just to say hello, nothing else. I'm not interested in photographs or anything then. It's so, I mean, I was just telling, it's just about destiny. And I think I can just talk on and on. I think Hari would just love that about that. I think how when you just plan, I think it's like, focus on that rigorously, relentlessly. I think it's like it makes it happen. This is probably a classic example. So I thought it's like I might just get somewhere. It's like a chance to say hello. Nothing happened, and then 2 days before, on a Friday, I was just sitting with a couple of my friends in one of the restaurants in Chesterfield, and I was just saying, I wish I had a chance, if at all, I had an opportunity to just say hello to him. That's it. You guys won't believe it. The night I'm getting a call saying, are you the chef Ashok? It's like, can you just make a breakfast for him then? Okay, just a
Wow.
breakfast for him. I said, okay, it's like a little bit late in the night just to put it all together. But I said, like, okay, you don't want to let go the chance then. So I said, maybe, okay, we'll just do that. And obviously, you can't sleep in the whole night with all the excitement, emotions, someone you worship for almost half a decade, I mean, 5 decades. What will you say? It's like, he's supposed to be a little bit moody and, very professional, and he doesn't just talk that easily. And so I said, okay. And that day, it's like St. Louis, this was in July. St. Louis had a crazy rains then.
Was
I was like, and he's a stickler
was,
for time.
was this July? This past
No,
July?
last July,
Okay, okay, okay.
and last July, yeah. And he's a stickler for time. When I say that, I am normally a super stickler for time. He's worse than me. It's seven. It's 7:01. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing less. Than he won't ask you with that. He thinks from a music. He has a musical clock, so he thinks from that. So I go there, and it's pouring, and there's huge traffic jam on 64, which is a highway. And I was just wondering whether I might just be able to reach. The food would be hot, cold, everything. And somehow I just go there, and I call the secretary, and I think he comes down. He said, like, okay, you can just come in. And just somewhere he likes one of the particular saint, and my mom have painted that, hand painted that, or drawn that in 1969. I had that somewhere just in a coincidence then. So I put that in a frame, wrote a couple of notes how divinity and music, it's like, it spreads a bit of peace then, and how it makes an impact on someone's life. And I go there, it's like I present the I think the photograph. He reads and looks at that with a nice smile. I said, okay, my job is done. I think 50 years I've been waiting to see him, and I got a chance, and I got a bonus of making a food for him. That's fine. I just took his blessings, and I was ready to head back. And I was heading back too. And I get a call from his secretary saying that Sir was asking, can you get some soup for him at 11 o'clock then? So I said, okay, it's like it's not a big thing for me to make a soup. Okay, I go back again, make a soup. It's like do that, and I said like, okay, I'll collect the whatever the pan spots, whatever lighter. That's fine. He said, no, you can just stay back here. So I'm watching a composition taking place over there with his orchestra guys and everything. He said, no, 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 you can be here, whatever it is, and I can't just even believe it's like, and there are the guys who are hosting them are waiting outside, the MCs are waiting outside. No, I think it's like be there, and I go there, and then evening again I stay back. Okay, sit and have dinner with me. Somebody is getting the dinner, and you're having the dinner with him, and so you still don't know. It's like I think whether it's a destiny or what it is, you can't just still believe. And then okay, I take a sleep in the night. Next morning it's like, I mean, 7 o'clock I get a call. What are you doing? Sir was inquiring whether you have time today. Then said okay, I go there, and again he had a couple of off days before the concert, and I go there, and he said, can I just get this couple of things, whatever his shopping things there. Said okay, it's like I think I can just take you, no problem then, whatever. I don't have a limousine, but I think I can just take you in my car. That's fine then. So we go to the West County Mall, which is like one of the thing. He's not recognized at all. He loves that feeling. And I keep just talking. I'm just trying to control my emotions. How much, I mean, I love his songs or compositions and everything. And he's coming with me like a stranger. It's like sitting back in my car, and whole day. West County Mall, Rana would just, I mean, he probably, I think he might have maybe about, I'm not exaggerating, 50 million points in Emirates alone, at least 50 million points minimum. So, and because he shuffles and travels so much, and he goes to the food court in the West County Mall, and have the vegetables and rice over there. said, sir, I can go and get it. He said, no, 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 I can come with you. An 84-year man is walking with me and without recognized, it's like he's so happy about it. And we are just taking that, coming back and just eating at the hotel and then spending the whole evening again. Next day, ditto. He wants some paper for the compositions, and then we are just doing that. And I think finally the concert day, the man, I mean, I haven't seen him practice doing it's like any rehearsals, nothing. And then he goes to that 20,000 audience over there at 10 o'clock. He goes there. I think normally it's like, I mean, when you are a singer or a performer, you rehearse your throat or do something, then nothing. Goes in front and stands in the stage and, completely, I think the voice is like picture perfect then without it's like any, wrong notes. I think it's just coming over there. The Afro-American lady who was a security guard, she doesn't understand the language and everything. And then she's like crying. And next morning, it's like, I mean, the show gets over. He wants me to have a dinner. We did that. Next morning, afternoon, I drop him at the airport and come back. And like Rana says, like, I think I'm completely in tears because 4 days I was holding up completely everything. So I wished and prayed. I wanted a 30-second, basically, then 30-second of, introduction or nothing. And then it's like almost saying 4 days of it's like unlimited thing. It's like time with him. And imagine just going to his suite when he was not well, able to rub a head balm or check his temperature. Look at the level. It's like he allowed you to. And when I came here, I think the Germans. Why I'm saying that is next day I come here and I just come to the same studio where I'm sitting, and he calls back and saying that thank you for taking care of me. He doesn't need to taking care of me all the 4 days and everything. And I said like sorry, I was just holding back, and I think I was controlling myself. So the point I was just trying is like the emotion, I think, which we talked about it. So he said no, it's like be truthful to yourself. Emotions are true expressions, then don't hold it back. So just let it go then. So and after that, I think he invited me to the London Symphony, and then it's like Paris. And then when I went to India 2 months back, he had a personal visit to me. It's like, at his studio and everything. It all starting point, food, basically. Then again, I'm just coming back to the same. But when you do it with true devotion, anything, any profession, I think it's like, I believe that whether it's like you are even if they allocated uh, a cleaner position, I think it's like, I would have been just thrilled. It's like I would have excelled in the job then, definitely then. It's about just being truthful to self, being truthful to the skill, whatever it is then. And I think it's like the overall, the people you are serving to. And I'm sure it applies to any business then, whatever it is. The scale might vary. I think it's like, the ethics and it's like, it's like it's all the same then. And the human interaction, it's like it's still the same then. So it's like it was another nice incident, and I think it's like a destiny in my life then.
It's the coolest story I've ever heard, hands down.
A lot of you're just as gifted as you are with food, you are with words as well.
Yes.
You're a wordsmith, truly. So, and I'll read Nishant. I don't know if you've connected with him on LinkedIn. You need to read his posts. His posts on whether it's social media or LinkedIn or um, yeah, the way he writes, it's. I mean, you can get the gist. You're hearing him speak, so imagine him taking the time to like type out words. It's really like it's
And I
it's
think it's like also, I think one aspect, I think what we practice, again, it applies to anyone. It's like whether it's an eye cover, which I'm sure Hari is like, I think, and he's been doing it, is about, I think, giving back to the community then. It's not about all the time you want to eat the whole pie, whether it's a business or in my business, the industry is a little bit different. There's a bit of jealousy, which I'm sure it's there in every industry then. But I think what we consciously try to do is, especially whether it's in immigrants or it's like small businesses, we support all the small businesses. When you have a big business, I think big order or anything, happy to just share that genuinely with the smaller business. If there is a bread baker, I mean, it doesn't take too much time for me to make a dessert, but if there is like making somebody's life, or it's like daily ends meet, I'm just happy to just do that then. And I think if they get a word of mouth through me, I think it's like I'm happy with that then. And I think it's like it all accounts, I believe, in somewhere. Accounts, when I say bank accounts, it doesn't need to be just accounted in dollars. It's in terms of a goodwill. I think it's like, I think it's very, very important from the clients, the vendors, and everything. Good vibes, basically, then. So I think it's like we are happy to just share that genuinely with, quite a few of them. We almost support 8 to 10 small business on a genuine regular basis. When we have a order, I think it's like, you just take it. I mean, and you can, and without expecting any revenue share from that. I think, it makes their life different. And I think it takes to the next level. On the same thing, it's like, I think Rana has been there to our incubator kitchen, which again, I think it helps or empowers people who has just the ideas, but to give them a shape or give them a little bit of wings to fly, use the space into cooking classes, or make their products rather than doing it a garage or something like that. So we almost empowered 100 to 200 small business owners and changed their life, especially during COVID. Then it started during COVID, so we changed that and empowered the people to do that, for which we won a few awards from the community. It's like for that then. So it's like, again, it applies. I mean, if you can, you might be able to do it, but I think if you have an opportunity to share the pie with somebody, I think why not? Then I think just do it with that. So in fact, our annual dinner, it's not only with our staff, but with all the support. It's like the vendors. They also just join us in that then. And don't do it in expectation of it then. If tomorrow it's like, I think they need to do that, no, it's not about that then. If there is like somebody wants to do it, I think just do it with heart then.
Wow. Man, dude, a gentleman, a really, um, a good acquaintance of mine. His name is Ben. He owns Saucy Pasta, in St. Charles. Have you heard of the? Yeah. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about? Yes, yes. Okay, okay, okay. Ben, and maybe you've heard him say this too as well. Then, but uh, I'm like happy knowing that you know
Yeah.
who I'm talking about. That's crazy. We were talking, and he was like, man, because he used to be in the film industry, and we're talking about art and how, and like, me just loving music as much as I do. So we're talking about like music, film, food, and he says, man, like really, food is like the truest form of art because it appeals to every sense. Because before that, I was thinking, oh, like, man, I think musical theater is like Broadway, like, Broadway shows are like, that's the highest form of art to me before that. And the reason why I said that was because I was like, oh, like these guys are like dancing, acting, singing, like they changing outfits real fast and like expressing themselves that way visually. But then he's like, yeah, but like with food and, and any like a culinary experience, like, whether you're in a restaurant, whether you're eating, having an experience, like experiences that you provide, he was like, that appeals to every sense, even because you can't eat a musical, like you can't eat like a Broadway show. And I was like, oh man.
And I will add another aspect to that. I think it it gives a new lease of life. You can survive without. I mean, you need food to live, basically. Then that's just one of the differentiator. I mean, of course, music is a great one. I never just take it for granted, but I think you can't just survive by music. You know what I mean? I think
Right.
it's like you need to have something. So in that way, I think it scores a notch over, just the music. Then.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And
Um,
like, according to you, what's different? What's the difference between a craft and an art?
I think it's just too complicated. I don't just normally. It's like too the complicate things. Then, I mean, I think it's like one is a probably a skill, in my opinion. I think craft is a skill, and I think how much it's like that's something. It's like I believe it's a sort of a basic. I mean, when I say basic in a pecking order, then I would say I think craft is a skill, and of course it's like shaped into a particular thing. art is probably it's like the finishing aspect of it. Then I think the other end of the spectrum, what you do with the craft, I think it's like, it's like it's what it is then. So I may have a cooking as a skill, I mean, maybe a craft, whatever, but how I put it all together, as Rana said right now, that's probably the art then. So, just by having a canvas in my hand, I think I'm not going to be considered an artist or a painter, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I can take a couple of selfies and post it, but that doesn't translate into anything then. So we need to, one is like seeing in action, the other one is like, I think, a raw skill acquired, I believe. That it's my simple interpretation. I don't, as I said, I don't complicate things at all in life then.
You
So
could take art out of a craft, right? As in like you can't
Yeah,
spell craft without art.
I might be, yeah, I think it's like true. That's true then. Yep,
Yeah.
it's true.
That's just me being cheeky, man. But
is there any chef you like, look up to, who inspires you?
I think again, as I said, every single time, I think there were a few mentors. I would say I would just
Hmm.
call them few mentors who sort of helped, tapped, yelled, screamed, everything they did that. But again, no regrets, absolutely no regrets. And I'm in touch with the first chef. I mean, I told you it's like the 28 years back restaurant. I'm still in touch with him. And I think for me, the biggest compliments or the biggest award for me, the Michelin award, was he saying, "Well done, chef, good job." I think that was when I used to be working with him. I mean, he could even never say even thank you, basically, then.
Uh,
So, but I mean, but I think it's like now I understand. I think what you interpret from those hard work. I think, and unfortunately, people miss out that in this industry, it's about discipline, right? It's about discipline. I think if can I have a couple of minutes? Is it okay? It's like I can just talk about him. Is it okay?
yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay.
certainly, yeah,
So yeah.
yeah.
So this gentleman, it's like he's one of the top French chefs in Australia. Even now, he's recognized one of the top ones then. And he was a French professional basketball player and who had met with an accident and so became a chef then. But of course, he had a skill then. He was like 6'7", about 250 pounds, something humongous guy then. So when again, I go back to the destiny aspect in a minute. You'll see that topic coming in a lot many because that happens to me in my life. This gentleman, it's like used to, haunt everybody. Haunt. I mean, whatever I said, it's like about devotion. I can't abuse. He's complete opposite of that. Then complete opposite of that. Added to that, the French, skill is also there. I don't want to use the word arrogance, but I think he used to be there. So almost, I think in a span of, I was probably the only guy working in his restaurant for 30 months, almost 30 months then, whereas 210 people around me were fired. 210 people. And I had about 65 people working in the restaurants roughly. So 210 people were fired. But again, the interesting factor is you when people scream at you, it applies to anybody, whether it's like your bosses or I mean, it's the way you look at the things as a scope for improvement, I think, or you take into heart. Maybe I've been a foolish some other part of my time, but I think this was an eye opener. So I was just doing my MBA. I said, what does he want? Why does he scream? Why is he irritated? Why is he angry all the time? I think then I think it's like I said, I'll try to apply the so-called on-the-job training, management techniques on him, just trying to see what is that he is missing or what does he want then. He had a language problem, a little bit in those times. And second, he was a perfectionist. Perfectionist. He doesn't, being an executive chef, I think 28 years back, earning about 150,000, it's not a joke. It's not a joke then. And he commanded that and he got that. And if you come to used to visit that restaurant, I'm even now proud of, and I still even remember the phone number 322-16090 +7 in Brisbane. You touch any aspect, any plates, any chimneys, anything, there won't be even a bit of dust in that kitchen. Anytime. I'm not saying many is there. Go at night, go in the morning, whatever it is. He was such a perfectionist. Second, he never need to come at 6 o'clock in the morning when the service starts at 12 noon. He doesn't need to. Maybe we are all the bakers can come early, the other staff can come early, prep cooks can come early. He was there personally checking all the raw materials, everything. And he's not even the owner, mind you. He's not even the owner. He's just an executive chef. It's about the commitment. I said that. So checking everything. And then I think everything, it's like, even a small thread under the chair, he took it personally then. Whatever. That's number three. Third, I think, was the speed, the response. It's like he has to, I mean, if there is like hundreds of pans piling up on a service thing, he used to scream because the people were not proactive enough then. That was my first job. Dishwasher was the first job there. So, so we said, like, let's just try to address this communication issue. We can't do much. I couldn't learn French. We'll just arrive at a midway. I think it's like I can come early, definitely earlier than him, maybe. I think it's like, so it was good. He was like happy. Okay, there was somebody already being in there. And then he used to look for everything. So you preempted it and you just did all the pre-work then. And you took off his load a little bit, checking that's like material rather than waiting for it. The crab to wait in the ice for 6 hours. You put that back in the shelf. You acknowledged it and did that. Second, I think don't wait for the pans and everything to just pile up. You immediately looked at that. I think the relationship blossoms so beautifully that he doesn't even need to speak anything. He just look at me and Ash, I think it's like it got done. It came into such a rapport then over there. So almost 210 people were fired and I was the lone wolf that was like survived over there then. And he has an ego. He can't just say thank you, please, nothing at all. I used to do 18-hour shifts sometimes then, 18-hour shifts, 110, 120-hour weeks and everything then. But I think what he wanted, I think we were able to just present it over there. So he liked that. He could take a step back. He could trust me with that. And that's what it is then. So the point is, the commitment and dedication. He had a dedication in a different way. We use the word maybe devotion. We give a bit of spiritual angle to that. He had a different thing. I think that was his only thing then. He used to leave at 10 o'clock. He used to come at 6 o'clock in the morning. So whatever. So it's about looking for what they want. Just try to look for that as a learning rather than getting personal. All the other 200 people who quit, they just took it personally and then, whatever it is, like they just left. So that's another lesson to see in between the things, then see between, what's there. I think you will find the answers and the solutions then. And he's even now my mentor. And I had my Ritz chef. He taught me a lot in fine dining. Had another chef, I think, Anne Picard. She taught me a lot with, the budgetary meals and the preparation. I mean, how to cook for 1,000 people in a breakfast and lunch every single day. And not last, but not the last one. Ferran Adria was the inspiration for me to come inside the thing, take it as a professional thing. If you look at that, I think, he ran a restaurant called El Bui in Spain, in Roses then. So Ferran Adria. So he was my dream mentor. It's almost like a Indian mythology, Eklavya and Dronacharya. Hopefully he doesn't ask for my thumb. I can't cut without that.
That's awesome. Wow. Man. There's a lot. There's a lot to this. Nishant, like, boy, we gonna put Abhishek and Ajit and Yatin to work with the editing. Like, we gotta take so many clips. There's a lot of clips from this that we would love to give people, because that's what we do. We upload the whole episode and then we like to just. You've given so many gems and so many wonderful, like, just moments that you've just shared with us. Like, I just there's a lot here, and
What is that? I have one question for both of you.
yes.
What can iCover do for chefs? I mean, because the reason I'm specifically asking this question is, uh, I think one, they are so focused in the job, they are very stressful about it. Unfortunately, and most of the guys, it's like live paycheck to paycheck then. I think if there is a solution, I think it's like which helps them personally. I mean, they all have a family, they have an erratic schedules and everything. And if there is like something, it's like which is a cut about the rest, I think it might be interesting. I think taking care of their, home, health, whatever it is, that might be something interesting and fascinating without them having to spend too much on time on, documentation, pre and everything. As a matter of fact, today, Rana, I was just checking, I was just trying to check for some insurance for some car or something. It took me about 18 and a half minutes despite filling the forms then. 18.28 seconds. I just documented it. One of the companies, 18.28 seconds. This is take another 10 minutes of filling the form with all the details and everything then. And again, I think not everybody has that much of time. And also you lose the interest level in the certain thing. So if there is something, it's like that can be addressed to this community, I think it's like that might be wonderful. Then I think change the lives in a different way because uh, one, it's like I think they are the ones who feed the community. I think that's one, and
Right.
also it's like it's a nice way of giving back to the community. Of course, it's like there is no charity, but I'm saying there is if there is a simple mechanism that can give a good product basically then that which is like not there with anyone. I think it's like there would be a great opportunity. It's like over there then. I mean, because during COVID, we saw, I think it's like heartwarming stories then,
Right.
heartwarming stories then.
Yes.
And
Mm.
many businesses, many people collapsed. I mean, as a matter of fact, I think 10 or 15 colleagues, 15 students of mine who studied with me in the Cordon Bleu, none of them are in the food business then. None of them other than me. Because I think it's like one, it's like a demanding thing. And
Uh-huh.
I think they all need to take care of everything else then.
Right.
So the least it's like if one significant aspect is health, family, life, home. I think that's something then. So if there is something it's like which makes it a bit easier,
Y-
I think that
Mhm.
might be something wonderful for them. And I would say a lifesaver, truly
Yeah.
lifesaver then.
Yeah. No.
Definitely, we have it.
Yeah. iCoverDirect.com, baby.
Like
What-
iCodedirect is a 100% online digital marketplace where you can again like you can start a timer, you can go through the whole process, and we can guarantee that you will complete the you'll get your final quote in under 5 minutes,
That's wonderful
right?
then. Okay.
And
And this
and
is a home
no
insurance or how health we are talking about.
life insurance.
Life, got it. Okay. Okay.
So no documents, no
Okay.
paperwork, no
Wonderful.
medical tests,
Wonderful.
right? And no agents
Amazing.
involved, right? So it's
Wonderful.
pretty affordable.
Definitely. I think share the link. I think it's like happy to share to our community then. I think it's like
Definitely.
it might be a lifesaver because most of them are like hourly workers and
Mhm.
not all the companies just take care of it then. So, it might be something it's like a truly a lifesaver uh, for them.
in a fast-paced
Absolutely.
world where chefs oftentimes put everyone else first,
Give a
right?
nice chef's name to that then chef product or chef insurance something so
Oh
so
man, yeah, yeah.
something it
We
might be
going
an interesting one.
well, we'll try to chef that up for you then, all right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We'll cook it,
we'll,
cook it up
we'll,
for you.
we'll try to cook something up. Yeah, man, this was such a splendid episode. I mean, there's so much I could say. Certainly, you'll hear it from me when I see you next time. I'll still be giving you praise for all the lovely moments that you shared with us. Um, Nishant, before I wrap this up, or Mr. Ashok Saab, anything you want to say? Either one, Nishant, if you want to ask him another question, or anything that you want to ask him before I wrap this up.
I think we're out of time, but any last words, like any pieces of advice for the viewers watching?
Just love what you do and just do it with all dedication. That's about it then. Doesn't matter what you do.
Perfect.
That's it then. Thank you very much, guys. And thank you, iCover and Rana and Nishant, for everything else then. So it was just wonderful to share some, it's like nice memories and nostalgic stuff then. So thank you very much for the opportunity then. Wonderful to have you guys then. Thank
Yes,
you.
certainly.
Thank
You
you.
you you brought me to tears,
And
and
laughter too.
yeah, and laughter.
Absolutely.
Certainly, yes, and
Life
laughter.
is all about that, right? I think it's like
Yes,
it's
Yes.
about memories then. So that's good. So
true.
thank you very much, guys. Wonderful then. It was wonderful then. All right.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you,
Thank
man.
you, guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Yes,
Bye bye.
certainly.